Hello everybody and happy Mother's Day. Um what can I say? I had a little bit of a very tiring end of the week, mainly because here in the suburb city, if it can be called a suburb city, that I live, they are very strict when it comes to how the front of your house looks like. I mean, there's a city inspector that has nothing else to do but go around and make sure that whatever grass you have in the front of your house is not taller than a certain amount of inches, that you have this, that you have that, that you have the other. So one of my neighbors yesterday morning, not yesterday, Friday morning, I kind of have a little bit of a blur because it took me a while to recover. Anyway, so she comes at my door desperate, like, Day, you need to get out in the yard because the inspector is roaming. I go, okay. So I got on my gardening stuff and I got in the front and I worked and was several hours. Of course, I took some breaks, but I made my front yard look a little bit better, but it took me forever to recover. And the other thing, I think I told you that my blood work didn't come up very good, so I think I have to wait until I see my primary care on the 27th to figure out what that is about, but it might explain my fatigue. Anyway, so I realized that I did not draw for the when I did on the 4th of May. I did the draw for all those giveaway prizes. I did not draw for the kit for the flowers, so I'm afraid that's going to be for a future draw. And I am so sorry, I don't know how I missed it. So, let me say hello. Hi Elaine, hi Ramona, hi Sharon, hi Catherine, Jessica, Ellen, Skywalker, Brenda, Pat, Sonia, and I forgot who the organic silver moon stands for, but thank you. Anyway, I've been thinking, because a lot of times, I kind of mull stuff in my head about all kinds of things, and then I get and start experimenting on them. And there was some stuff that I watched an artist do, and then I was like, I wonder if I do something. Okay, Lydia, hi Anna. If I do something kind of like that, but if I do it this way, how is it going to be? Okay, so I thought, why not just try with the girls, and gentlemen, because we have a couple gentlemen here, because I'm sure that they will like it, and it also kind of can give you a glimpse into what doing tutorials means and how much time and stuff it takes. So let's go ahead and do it. I mean, there are several things that I wanted to check, right? And one of them, because I still need to look for some others, but I'm not going to start rummaging through stuff. I finally got enough in the rest of the house that I can start getting into the craft room and start putting things together, because I'm not the way that I was when Whisper died, but it's getting there. So I need to get. So number one, I want to try these flower things, and I'm going to have, honestly, I'm going to try them both with the hard as well as with the soft resin, because remember when I showed you the soft resin, the thing was about all kinds of molds, and you can see that the details that are far down are a little bit slanted. They are not perfectly straight down, they are a little bit slanted. And remember the little goldfish? Hi Darla. And usually when you have stuff like that, your resin breaks those little details. Number one, it's hard to get in there unless you have a low viscosity one. And number two, once you cure it, it's kind of hard to pull it out, you know. So but I am waiting for one thing. I want to try a specific thing. And by the way, I did find soft pouring resin, casting resin, but not on Amazon, not in the US. I found it on I think they are from, I forgot if they were from France or from Belgium. And people buy and have fun. People in Europe might be familiar with the name of that shop. It's called Sophie and Toffee. Let me actually bring the box. And because I had so much going on, I didn't even open, so I'm gonna kind of unbox it with you here. See, this is the, and the address itself is Sophie and Toffee. It's exactly Sophie and Toffee. Let me switch to display. See, it's Sophie and Toffee. And but I had to wait a while because they don't always have it. So if we go to the UV resin, they even have colored resin. It wasn't a big thing. And see, they have soft UV resin, but they also have, let me get to resin craft, resin. They also had the casting resin. See, the clear AB hard, and the one that I got is the clear AB soft. And then I got that because I do have some casting resin, and I want to do some stuff with casting resin. But what I want to do, you'll see, I'm waiting for some not laminate sheets, but transparent sheets like the ones that you use in a laser printer, because I kind of need to build a mold. So again, hard, and they have all kinds of goodies, you know, and special UV gel stuff that you cannot really find in the US. Europe is way better than us, and they have a lot of Japanese stuff. So, and the Japanese are the same as the Russians, are decades ahead of us in the West. When it comes to polymer clay, the Japanese are and the Chinese are way ahead of us when it comes to resin. And the thing why we cannot find a lot of that, because of their character. And I guess they have this, something similar. Oh no, this one is aromatic. Oh, they have aromatic scents for UV resin. Now this wasn't there. So hard. Where's the soft? Because I know I got the soft from them. I'll open the box and you'll see. Again, hard. And see, they have the thick and the thin. And remember, I was explaining to you before how you have the high viscosity and the low viscosity. And depending on what you want to do, some things you cannot do. I guess they are out of the soft UV resin. I'll have to shoot them an email to see if they're gonna bring any. But anyway, let's get back to this. You can make all kinds of stuff with resin, and I mean all kinds of stuff. Only on some of them you have to be careful. Okay, this thing is definitely taped. So let's open this. Let me bring my screen up here. And when I was telling you that I always have issues opening boxes, and I need to get Mr. Finnegan with the de-shedding brush sometime, hopefully today, because the regular brush doesn't make it. Oh, colorful, packing peanuts. This is so awesome. Okay, so I got the thin UV resin, because it was, when I ordered this, it was hard to find even on Amazon. Not necessarily. And if you clean your hands, if you're careful to not put stuff on your hands, a squishy gel. What the heck? This is not what I ordered. Or the squishy gel is the... Or I added something wrong? I don't know. I thought that I ordered a 2-part soft. Oh yeah, this is it. It's only it's called squishy gel. It is the soft casting. It's A and B. Never mind. It's my fault. Okay, so let me put this away. Not all of them are have fumes and things. I mean, of all the UV resins that I've tried and tested, only some of them have a smell, but not all. Of course, if you hold your head over that and you inhale, you might get high, dizzy, and all that. But usually, and depends with how much you work, you know, it's good to be in a ventilated, well ventilated area. But if you only do a couple things here and there, it's not a big deal. Why it's a good idea to wear gloves when you're working with UV resin is because if you don't realize and you have a bit on your skin and you go outside and it starts curing on your skin, you're gonna get some really nasty blisters because it heats up. So The casting resin, you don't do anything, you just have to wait. And the truth is that with some of the brands, if you're in a high humidity area, you might have to wait longer before it cures, but it's not necessarily. Okay, yeah, it's very similar, very similar. I guess that whoever came up with this actually got themselves inspired. Now this is a new thing that I found, and let me open it. Because it sounded interesting. So it's got some, this is a thing to make not necessarily geodes, but more like 4 gemstone kind of things. Now see how it's got these little step-like things here. And you can make it in one go, or you can make it in 2 and then put one on top of the other. Like, see how this one is here, the one with the steps, and then the other one is not. So you cast one and then you put it in the other. But I still have to refine this. I just wanted to show it to you because some of you have asked me on purpose to tell you ahead of time what I might be using. So as you can see, see for example this one, after it's all cast and everything, then you turn it around and you put it in here, and then you put the other part. But for that effect that I was telling you about, I chose to use these. This is an older mold. You can see it's kind of got yellowish. But I'm very curious how it's going to come out. And I'm going to use for coloring some of this pigment that's actually more or less like a colored UV resin. And remember, pigments for UV resin, most of the time, for 2-part resin you need to wear a mask. When you put any kind of pigments in UV resin, you either have to make sure that they are not, when it comes to pigments, you have to make sure that they're not opaque, that they are transparent enough for the light to go through. And when you're talking about inclusions, either you make sure they are not opaque, or they have to be set in a specific way so that you can flip it over and cure the other side. Otherwise, wherever the light cannot go through the inclusion, the resin underneath won't be able to get cured, obviously, because the light's not going through. All right, now, and another thing that I'm going to use, and you don't have to use this, I just thought it's because I got this a while ago, and I thought, let me just use it, try them, see how they work. Is the Lumiere Interference powder set, and it's purple to rose, green to teal, teal to blue, blue to violet, warm gold to green gold, pink to orange. So we'll see how this works, because the way that I've been trying, it went in my head. Thank you, Judy. The way it went in my head, it was different. One thing that I'm going to do though is to, because I hate these things. I know some people use them, but I find it very hard to go behind them with the resin. And what I normally do, I just cut it. It's going to leave a little bit of an indent, true, but that shows me where I have to use my hand drill to to poke a hole, because I prefer to drill holes in my resin. Okay, this one doesn't work. Let me go grab my pliers. Okay, and there we go. And let's do another one. Let me get this one. Alrighty. Now, the first thing, let me get this open here. So, what am I going? And you don't have to use these. As I said, if you have the flakes interferences, should be just fine. Remember, I always said that personally I find the Lumiere's overpriced, and there's a lot of other products that work just as good as, for more product for less money. But you know, I'm gonna try them. Oh, and it's double safety, so I'm gonna have to work on this too. And you see this kind of stuff, it means that the threads or whatever is used to close the little thing are not very well done, so there's a chance that stuff can, the lid can pop up. Okay, so I definitely want the blue, and that's fine, you're not that late, Sarah. Let's get the teal and blue. And yes, this was Finnegan, it was by mistake. He was trying to, he was playing with the hazelnut, and somehow he managed to throw it up, and it fell on the couch, and he desperately tried to get on the couch to catch it, and didn't realize that my arm was in the way. You know how cats are when they are trying to. When they go nuts, when they get in playful zooming mode. Oh, come on. Now this is something that drives me crazy. Okay, so number one, what I'm going to do is to grab some cling wrap. Alrighty, and I'm going to kind of cut it because I don't want it going all over the place and me messing it up. Right, because with my proficiency in dropping things, this could happen very, very easily. Alright, then let's get the second one. Okay, okie dokie. And then I am going to try the ones that are in steps like that as well. That's why I brought them here, not the way they are intended to be used. So I'm going to go outside the box, okay? So this would be the idea for one. And this would be for the other one. My problem will be, as I said, this is a trial, okay? Because I'm not entirely sure how the cling wrap will come off the resin. But everything needs to be tried, right? Okay. I'm on second thought, I think I'm going to leave some on the edges, not get the whole thing inside. But why I want this, because to explain why I'm doing all this crinkly thing, because if I'm using the interference thing, and actually, you know what I should use, I'm going to prepare another one and do some of the color shift. The thing is that when you're using all of this, you're gonna change the angle of the surface, so that when you start moving the thing, it's going to start kind of shimmering. Okay, give me just a minute. Okay. So, let me put this to the side for a second and grab something to put under to make sure that I don't make a mess here, a total mess. And I'll grab this. Yes, as I said, it's experimenting, okay? This is how experiments go. And remember, you kind of have to really shake this. Going to just give it a little bit of color. And then while I do the other ones, this one should be drying. And a lot of people have been asking me if we don't find, when it comes to the black opal, remember I have a black opal tutorial with resin and flakes. And there's the link to an eBay seller, and that product, she kind of sometimes has it, sometimes doesn't. If you don't find it, you can just get the ice resin fire opal. The flakes are not as large, but they still do a pretty good job. Alright, and now let's do a little bit of yellow green. And straighten. Yes, I always work with whatever I always talk to whatever I'm working. Okay, so this should be it. Let me put this to the side to dry. Clean my finger. And before anybody else asks, because I get a lot of questions, how do you clean your fingers whenever you get them so dirty? Well, most of the time alcohol works, but when alcohol doesn't work, one thing that you should always have in your it's a must-have for any crafter that also works with pigments and colors and stuff, is lava soap, as that's going to clean your fingers. And also when you're working with this kind of cleaners, it's a good idea to have handy a good hand cream. I've been using Nivea since I was late childhood, early teens. And one thing, because I've seen that shown on several channels, and I wanted to, because it's like, are you kidding me? I've seen some people showing how you can clean your hands from the pigment, from the clay, you know, like from the red clay, black clay, whichever have the harsher pigments and other kind of pigments, by using hand cream. It is true that hand cream will remove most of that, but on the other hand, what it will do, because it kind of slightly dissolves whatever is that, it will make it go faster in your skin. You don't want that. Okay? This is an absolute no, 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 no. Okay, turn already. Alrighty, now I'm going to grab some paint brushes that are not too big. And by the way, paint brushes like this for this kind of stuff, just go to Big Lots, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, and get the small sets of paint brushes for cosmetics. They are soft, they are cheap, and you get a whole bunch of them for a few bucks, and they are the best for powders. Okay, so what I'm going to try is first to give it some, place some interference powder here, making sure that I have on both of these, I have the glad, the cling wrap coming out a little bit. Okay, now let's see. One thing is for sure, they are full, and compared to the Perlex interference and to the ghost effects, it's less fine. Okay, so a little bit. As I said, I'm very curious how it's going to look like. So this was the, so these are the Lumiere Lasters. Come on already. And this was the Blue Violet. And let me use the teal blue on this one. Hey, look what I did. I made a mess, I turned it on. Okay. That was not smart. I opened it upside down. It was nice how it came out all like a mold thingy. But enough of it fell, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm not gonna open it again. And of course I'm going to have to clean this mold. Honestly, when you drop any of these interference powders on your resin mold, it's a pain to clean them. This powder kind of clings to everything. Okay, now let's go with the green teal, and I'm going to use some green teal on both of them. Yay, look at this. Not sure if these are cosmetic grade or not, but they would definitely do a great eyeshadow. Huh. What do you mean? The working on it, or hardening, or what? Yeah, I have a 72 watts, so, and I always put it twice in there, so it's not, it only takes like 2 minutes. But the higher the wattage on your lamp, the less it's going to take. This is the part. Okay, I got several of these, and that's why I said I checked on a lot of these, of the stuff that you can find on Amazon. Alright, so what I'm going to do next is get myself some toothpicks ready. And what do I want to go with first? I'm going to put some flakes first. Let me grab my whenever I can get it. There we go. Okay, and let's put some flakes. So this is the crystal opal flake from Ice Resin. And why I use these things that are larger, remember that I always try to make stuff bigger than I would normally make it, so that you can see better what I'm doing, because if I'm doing something that's super tiny, it's a pain. And I was asked, are you going to ever make coasters? Yes, I am. Soon. And the other thing is, Kitty, that remember that this is something that I'm experimenting with. When you do something that you already know how you're supposed to do it and how it's going to come up and what you need to do in order for it to come up with the effect that you're trying to obtain, everything goes much faster. But when it's just an experiment, yeah, it might be a little bit longer. Okay, next. So one of the colors, because it's obvious by now that I'm trying to do something that would be a little bit, at least a little bit opalish, so I'm using first a little bit of white, which is not really white, it's just a milky thing. Careful not to put on the sides. And then trying to remember of the blues. The lapis is the dark one. And the regular blue is a light one. So I'm going to put a little bit of very light blue. You want me, let me know if you want me to zoom in for you to see better what I'm doing here. Okay. And now I can go ahead. And the thing is, remember, by what I noticed on all these resins, different brands, some of them have shorter shelf life. Okay. And let's make sure that it is perfectly focused. Alrighty. Yeah, to get texture, because all of these things, they are either iridescent or interference or something, so that you know how normally faceted crystal is, the color, the flash comes and goes because of the facets, because they have different planes and angles. So this is what I'm trying to achieve here. And I said when I started that the only thing that I'm not entirely sure is if I'm not going to have some problems removing the cling wrap. Hi, Cindy. Okay, so let me see. And as I was saying, some of these have a fairly crappy shelf life, and one of them is the regular Tiao Tiao. I mean, I had a whole bunch. I bought at one point a whole bunch of them, and somebody sent me some too. And after I used a couple of them, maybe 3 bottles maybe, I still had like 4 or 5 remaining. And when I tried to use them, they were hard as rock. And it wasn't like I had kept them in the light or anything, because number one, the Qiao Qiao is in a black bottle. And not only that, but they were in a cabinet. So what I'm going to do now is to go, first of all, try to make sure that I get resin in some of those crevices, and then kind of move around these little dabs of color that I put in there. Obviously on this I cannot use a lighter because I'm gonna melt the cling wrap. Okay, let's give this one a... Yeah, it does have a little bit of mermaid vibes, doesn't it? Okay, now let me get this in the lamp. Alrighty, then I got my... Okay, now let me see, where do I want to... Let's try and work this one. And this is... Oops. This looks like it's dry enough. No, it was the other side that I tried. Okay, these are not dry yet. Needs to dry some more. I was hoping, but I guess I didn't. My hope was in vain. One of my latest symptoms, if you've ever heard about something like this, is I get Charlie horses on my ribs, on the sides of my ribs, whenever I turn. And when I saw the oncologist Tuesday, he said to try and find some tonic water because the quinine in it might help with it. And guess what? Quinine water is hard to find now. Can you imagine that? And I remember that it was all over the place, and one of my most favorites even in Europe was the Schweppes. So okay, I'm gonna try the other one. Actually, let me break the little nipple-y things. Okay, that one is almost done. Let me give it one more pass. And then we'll see how that works. Another thing that I have on my have to try now is I found some nails. You know how you all admire my nails that I always have with this holographic kind of thing, and I actually found holographic powder for nails, and I'm going to try it, see how that works on polymer clay. Alrighty, let's see where we are. How did this go? And if I can remove it. Okay. So it looks neat, and it's still a little hot. And actually it got hot enough to partially melt in some spots this. Okay, let me do something here because it didn't, the resin didn't cure all the way through. So, oh come on, come out already. Let me get them upside down here. Let's wait for like one more minute. But I'm sure that something will come up and it will be pretty, you know. Why did you stop? I'll get rid of this, all this powder here. As I said, normally I just have to give it some soap and water in the kitchen. So that's the whole idea. Don't get soft UV resin on your fingers. I mean uncured. And if you do, just use alcohol to clean your hands. Alrighty. You know, at least when I got that cling wrap with the acrylics on it, I didn't drop it on the carpet face down, because that's one of Murphy's laws, huh? Oh, by the way, remember what we did last Sunday? I did this and I baked it, and I might show it real quick next Sunday how to finish it. And by the way, I'm gonna probably go in to grab some so I can show you, but I found some better brooch pins. Than the regular ones we have been using. And there we go. Remember, it was how to bake it without the petals sticking to each other. Okay, this thing is done. And let us see if I'm gonna, you know what, if there are areas where I cannot remove the cling wrap, I guess I can easily just leave it there, because nothing is going to happen if it's there. It's just going to give it an extra, because by the way, when I was working on diorama kind of stuff, and there's something similar to resin that's to create fake water in dioramas and in, like, you know, the little model train, little towns and things. You can actually make a water effect using cling wrap. Okay, it looks interesting. It looks wavy. Oceany. I have an idea. So yeah, it's a pain to remove the cling wrap, but whatever doesn't come off is gonna stay there. Okay, so I'm going to try two things. On the one that's here, obviously I cannot turn it around, so it's going to go in as is, like this. But on this other one, I'm going to place it, no, I cannot place it upside down because it kind of bubbled forward. So oh, I have some things here that don't let it go all the way in. Little droplets that went up on the cling wrap. Okay, this is good. Still doesn't go all the way. Somehow it bubbled up. I should have pushed it down more. Oh well, it's going to still do a good job. Now, remember when I was showing you the some of the water effect? I'm going to try and use some of that now. So this is a higher viscosity, this is a low viscosity, okay? So high viscosity, make sure that I am under the camera. Okay, high viscosity, so a thick UV resin. Then I'm going to use the darker blue. Hey, of course I dropped the toothpick. Then I gather from the carpet about half a pack of toothpicks. And color, disperse the color. And on this one, it's going to have to, this is why I was telling you several Sundays ago that that's why you want translucent, because you cannot really find transparent resin molds, because if you put all kinds of inclusions and stuff, you want to be able to simply flip the mold to get the other side properly cured. Okay, now going to grab a little bit of white and try to do just droplets. And get the low viscosity one. I think this was it. It wasn't it. Hold on. Let me grab the other bottle. I forgot to put it away because I have one of these that also got hard. Only that it was purchased well before the Ciao Ciao. Come on. Okay, did you harden? This is to learn, you know. I figured out that resin, the UV resin, is not something that you want to buy a lot of, okay, at a time, because it goes hard. So good thing that I had purchased a lot of them at one point just to experiment. So I do have some leftovers. Come on. Gonna have to go to the kitchen to get more toothpicks. Okay, this one is not very low viscosity. It's fairly heavy. So what I'm doing here is to make another one of those kinda, sorta ocean water effects. But as I said, it works much better when you have low viscosity. Doesn't work so good in high viscosity resin. And it works better with casting resin. Because with the casting resin, you have way more time to work with it when it's liquidy. And then with the UV resin, that's already a little bit on the thick side. And as I was saying in one of the past Sundays, if you don't have these colors and you decide to use other things to color them, be very careful if whatever you're using is transparent or opaque. Because, for example, yeah, you can color resin with some alcohol inks. It depends what pigments were used to make those alcohol inks, and I still have to find the blue alcohol ink that's transparent enough to color UV resin without making it impenetrable to light. I actually had to throw some molds away because of that. See, normally the low viscosity will not trail those little tail-like things when you lift it from the blue. It's still going to look okay, I promise you. Trying to get rid of those little tails. But yeah, now you see it can take a while for you to do this. Now let's place this in. Properly. And see, I got here a little bit of resin. And you want to go well in here. It's going to look very crystally, I guess. Let's make sure that we got the edges properly all over. Now see here, there was one of those little threads. I think I'm gonna just have to sand it off. All right, let me get this in the lamp. It's going to look pretty, huh? Meanwhile, are we done here? Not entirely, but I don't want to go overboard. Time-wise, because you know how it is, I start not being able to sit on the chair because I start hurting. All right, so I'm going to cut this in two. Because reasons. Because I want to get as much as I can in here. Okay. I mean, it's all kinds of experiments until I get. I mean, remember when I did when I showed you the labradorite type experiment, that it took me a while to get this effect and to learn how to do it in angles, but it came up perfectly. Labradorite dash spectralite, right? Okay, let me get one more time on that one in the lamp, and then I'm going to turn the mold upside down, flip it, and go at it again. Okay, it's better, so it's better to do it first by hand and then. So yeah, this one I showed it during one of the lives. Okay, get it upside down. And then I'll take it out and put it once again upside down in the lamp. Take the butt out of the mold. Sometimes when the bottom doesn't cure very good, you might get some softer things that once you put it back in the lamp will be not very shiny, but that is why you can use your modified pedicure wand with grits up to 30,000. I told you I usually go 5,000 and 10,000, and that's plenty enough. Alright, so here I am going to put just some flakes and see how that looks like with the color shift thing. I'm curious if the color shift is going to sit on the resin or if it's going to come off when you remove the cling wrap. So that's something to experiment, right? All kinds of shiny. Yeah, Jessica, all kinds of shiny. Okay, this thing is almost done. Yeah, I don't know if I want to use this one. Maybe it's gonna get much thicker than the other ones. Come on, how many minutes are you working? It doesn't. Oh, there you go. That was a minute, I guess. So let us see. It's hot. It looks very watery, but this is what bothers me. See how there's a... I'm not sure if it got completely hardened there. Yeah, see how the surface is like this. I'm going to put it back in there, and then this will definitely get sanded. But overall, it looks pretty good. I'm not unhappy with it. And talking of which, before my back starts hurting too much to do anything, as I said, I want to try these little ones. So let's choose some colorful colors. Now this is green. I don't want green. Let's get a pink. So let's do a pink. I think this is a rose. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, what are you doing? I guess this one got completely messed up. I cannot use it anymore. Give it some pink. And push it in there. Yay, airplanes. Some red. By the way, I'm getting jet fighters now. By the way, let me sell you a tip when it comes to bubbles. To air bubbles, you know, the whole thing with, because I got some questions before when it comes to resin, like, oh, I didn't notice any air bubbles, but then after my my resin was all cured, it looked pitted. And yes, there can be air bubbles that are too tiny to see and they are not close enough to the surface to be popped by with that trick with the lighter, you know. Okay, I need a little bit more red here. If you want to get perfect resiny things, your best bet is to get, you can get a plate, a dessert plate, you can get, or simply use the little tray that comes with your UV lamp, and buy the cheapest electric toothbrush. It can also be done with other kind of toys that vibrate, only the vibration has to be very, very high. And grab a smaller thing, a smaller container, and then put a plate or a tray or whatever, and then put the mold with your resin on top of it. And then turn on the toothbrush and just gently touch it to whatever is underneath. And that very fine vibration is going to dislodge even the tiniest air bubbles in your resin, and they are going to get up before it starts curing. Okay, now let's do what other colors do I have here? Brown. I want brown. I don't want brown. And black. I don't want brown and black. See, I was going to do the other one with black. So green. I have a ruby. What was this? And the purple. So let's do the ruby and the purple. Let's do the big one. No, I never had any problem with that. And why am I using first the plain uncolored resin? Because the freaking colored resin is very expensive. That's why. That's a very simple reason why. Okay, now let's use the ruby, which is much less colored than the red. Why they call this ruby, I have no idea. Because it's not really ruby. But I'm going to kind of poke it in. Let me give it a little bit of red as well, and then the purple. This should be orange, not ruby, honestly. And it's not the first time. I keep forgetting, and it's not the first time it tricks me. But we'll see how these look like. They should be beautiful. And the purple. This is why most of the UV pigments, they are not very strong, again, because they have to be transparent. Now next time I'm going to keep these, and what we are going to do next time, I'm going to show you how to actually paint the backs or use polymer clay on the backs to give it extra stuff. Alright, now this one is done. And as I said, the back, and I'm going to have to sand it a little bit on the front too, because remember, you get these little lips, you get that little lip that comes up, but overall I think it's super precious. Let me refocus so you can see it better. It is absolutely fabulous, even in close-up. See, it looks very crystally. Let's turn off the light, this light, so I can... It's a more natural light, less of a tutorial light. I love how it came up, and as I said, the back needs to be sanded, but still it's going to look beautiful. I love it. Very nice opal, faux opal effect, don't you think? And because of all that cling wrap thing, the flakes are not that noticeable. It looks more like whatchamacallit, just because it's the facet. Okay, so I guess with this one I'm gonna have to just try it by myself, because I'm gonna have to go sit. I've been on for like an hour and a half. But I am glad I was able to. But see, it is gorgeous, and it looks, again, it looks crystally. Let's see the little roses. And as I said, next time I'll show you how to, but what I'm curious if the hard resin works on them, or you definitely need to get soft resin in here. Oh, this is so precious. This is so precious. Might have to be more careful with the toothpick, making sure that it goes all the way in. This is precious, precious, precious. And I had the bubble here, I didn't. Remember I told you when I start hurting, I'm starting to be not so careful with what I'm doing, because I'm hurting. And this is precious too. Hold on. Of course I need to reset the focus so you can see it better, but it should. And as I said, next time I'll show you how to actually paint or polymer clay the backs, so that you get better. But yeah, they are gorgeous. And once again on this one, in close up and in natural light. And in tutorial light. It looks fabulous. I am glad. I think I'm going to do some tutorials using this effect for sure. Let me get back to the normal focus. Okay, so I shall see you next Sunday, and don't forget that Trish should be back today, so whatever you purchase should start going out tomorrow. And if you held up on purchasing, to make sure that she's there when she comes. I don't think she got back. Oh no, she did. Okay, she just emailed me a little bit after I started the light. So okay, so she's home, she's getting ready, she's working on getting the orders out, And the other thing that she's going to bring, remember the little raspberry beads for making the hammered metal effect? She's going to have those ones soon, so yay. So get ready, because soon I'm going to start with Cernits and Pardos and stuff, okay? I started on some new supplements that my oncologist told me to take, so hopefully I'll get better on that, on everything soon. But yeah, and hopefully it's nothing wrong with my, he said that's partially what showed weird in my blood work might be from the vaccine, but some other stuff is it's very hard to figure out, because some of those results kind of like shouldn't be able to coexist. Okay, anyway, I shall see you next Sunday. If in the meantime I get any kind of ideas, I hope to get back to the habit of just jumping online to show you stuff. Okay, thank you. Have a great what's left of Mother's Day Sunday. And don't forget, thumbs up, and don't forget to watch, because I have so many tutorials out there, and I have gotten them in playlists, so it would be easier for you to find if you're looking for something. Okay, remember that I got, right now I think I'm probably getting closer to 800 tutorials. Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.